Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jennifer, and welcome to Focus Activity 810, My Future. This morning, we're going to be doing a focus activity, a higher level focus activity, concentrated on the future tenses. We're going to be talking about the possibilities that the future holds, and possibly our plans and hopes for the future, especially seeing that we're living in a time where the future is extremely uncertain, unfortunately. Not only can we not foresee what's going to happen in the next few months, we don't necessarily know what's going to be happening in the next few days, or even from today until tomorrow. We found ourselves planning day to day, whether we have children in school, organizing their schedules online and via internet. We find ourselves organizing lesson per lesson as if we're teachers or educators. And basically, we are troubleshooting each and every day. And it's certainly not a lifestyle that any of us is used to, because we're more often than not creatures of habit. We like to know what we're doing from one day to the next. We organize our holidays possibly several months in advance. Good morning, Katya. How are you this morning? Thank you for joining me. We organize our vacations several months in advance. Or we can organize a party or an important event, possibly years in advance. If we consider engagement parties, often weddings are planned a year to a year and a half in advance. So it's very comforting to know what the future holds and things that we have to look forward to. But as I was saying, Katya, that nowadays the future seems very, very uncertain. We don't know if and when we'll be going back to work. Good morning, Andrea. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm okay, Katya. I can't complain. I'm glad that you have tuned in this morning, because last evening I gave you wrong advice. I said that this afternoon or this evening would be a Focus 810, when in fact it was this morning. So I'm glad that you have an accurate calendar and that you have tuned in today. Andrea, this morning we're talking about the future, your future, my future, our future, and unfortunately the uncertainty of it all, because we don't know what the future holds. We're planning our lives, our activities, our schooling, our jobs from one day to the next. We don't know where we're going to be this time next week. Possibly the circumstances will have changed, but we don't know. And even though we try not to be too attached to the news, I watched the American news yesterday and it ruined my day. Day by day, exactly, Katya, that's how we're living. And for most of us, it's not the norm. It's not something that we're used to. I know many of you, possibly many of you, had already planned your spring vacations or your summer vacations. You were already looking into places to go for the holidays, for the spring holiday or possibly your summer holiday. Good morning, Elena. Thanks for joining us today. So all of a sudden we find ourselves where we can't even organize the weekend because we don't know where we're going to be. So this morning, Elena, we're talking about the future. We're talking about future hopes, future plans. And when we talk about the future, we also know that there are three types of future. Oh, that's okay, Elena, but thanks for saying hello, and we'll see you later. Maybe we'll see you later on this afternoon. Have a good morning, Elena. So we know that when we're talking about the future, there are three ways to express the future. There's only one future tense, obviously, but there are three ways to express the future tense. And it's important here to know which are the three ways we can express the future tense. Okay, thank you, Elena. Thank you. Thanks, Elena. See you later. So my future. In this focus activity, we will be reviewing future tenses. We said that there are three ways of expressing the future tense. We will also be making predictions and expressing feelings about the future. So since we're going to be expressing our feelings about the future, does anyone here feel an uncertainty? And does that make you feel uncomfortable? Or do you kind of enjoy the spontaneity of it all, not knowing what's going to happen each and every day? On a personal level, although I am spontaneous by nature, I do like to have my life organized to a certain extent. I like to know that tomorrow I'm going to work, or this weekend I'm going to be free, or possibly I'm going to meet friends for dinner, or I'm going to spend the day with my children. I like to have a clear idea of what I'm going to be doing, even though during the day I could possibly change an idea or there's freedom in that. But I kind of like to know what I'm doing day by day. Maybe some of you feel the same way. You have an agenda and you have the pages in your agenda that are filled with plans and ideas and dates and appointments because you need to know what you're doing from one day to the next. And they could be simple personal appointments as going to the doctor, going to the post office, going to the bank, possibly reminding yourself of things you need to pick up from the supermarket or the pharmacy, or if you have something else in mind. And now we find ourselves with an appointment book, and it's empty because we don't have any appointments nowadays. Even if we're working from home, we have these virtual appointments that sometimes are more difficult to organize than the actual physical appointments. When you just get in your car and go somewhere. Yes, I'm feeling very anxious too, Katya. I wake up more stressed knowing I can't leave the house than when I would wake up before knowing that I had a full day ahead of me. And I wouldn't be back home until the evening, but I knew every place I needed to be throughout the day. Now I have the entire day ahead of me, and I have possibly different obligations that I need to respect during the day from my house. So yes, it does. It creates a lot of anxiety. And even if we're not as busy at home, the feeling of not having anything to do. Some of us are without certain obligations now, and there's a lot of time and space. And that creates anxiety as well, especially if we're used to having a very active or a very busy life. So let's get started on our focus activity talking about the future. We said that there are three ways to express the future. Andrea says, I had planned a few journeys and they were canceled. So the lesson is to live moment by moment, or also planning without any expectation. Yes, that's very true. A lot of us were disappointed, Andrea, because we had planned trips or we had planned events, and literally from one day to the next, everything was canceled. Once they decided to close down the schools, we knew that it was going to be a domino effect, and at some point we would all be in lockdown. And unfortunately, a lot of us went into lockdown thinking it was only going to be 2 weeks. I remember my colleagues saying, oh, It's only 2 weeks. I'll see you in a few weeks. We needed a break anyway. I honestly didn't think it was going to be just 2 weeks. So I went through a huge depression at the beginning of lockdown, and I cried all the time because I knew that it was not going to be 2 weeks. And as we see now, as we're stretching into the second month of our quarantine, that we actually don't know when we're going to come out of this. And if anyone watches the international news, we see that it's going all over the place. And yes, Andrea, what can we do? We can embrace this new reality and live moment by moment, really appreciating where we are right now. And we can also make plans. We can say, well, you know what? Once this is over, this is what I'm going to do. But not banking our happiness on that, because where we are right now, I'm sure we can find something to be thankful for. If we're healthy, that's the most important thing. Thank you, Andrea. So we said that we are 3 ways to express the future. We have the going to future, the present continuous, and the future simple. Now, if we understand the grammatical formula for each of these expressions of future, it's the going to plus the bare infinitive. Bare infinitive is without to. So I'm going, no, it's the infinitive with to. I'm going to play, I'm going to eat, I'm going to watch. Yes, it's very true, Katya. We need to stay calm. In fact, it gives us this time more than anything else, gives us time for reflection, for meditation, and also the realization of what's really, really important. My son said to me yesterday or the day before that he has never seen the sky so blue. And we know that spring has started. The sky's blue all the time, really. But he said that a blue like this, he has never seen in his life. And if any of you live even in the city nowadays, when I open my windows in the morning, there are birds everywhere. You can hear birds everywhere, and you can hear different types of birds. Now, I'm not saying that the situation is good from all aspects, but there are certain things that are happening around us that we can be a little bit grateful for. Okay, so we do have going to plus the bare infinitive. That means, so we don't say going to eat, going to watch. It's going to plus the verb. Thank you, Katya. And then we also have our present continuous. We know that the present continuous is the verb to be and the gerund. So we have the verb to be and ing. I am watching. I am eating. I am visiting. And then we have our future simple, which most of us remember from primary school and middle school, which is will plus the infinitive. So I will go, I will eat, I will watch, I will visit. And that's one of that's the future that most of us are familiar with. Okay, so we have our 3 future expressions on the left, going to, present continuous, future simple. And we have these functions on the right. Fixed future plans, predictions, your opinion. So I think, predictions with evidence. So this is going to happen because, spontaneous decisions, intentions with the possibility of change, and promises. So with all of these functions, we need to divide the functions into the 3 different future expressions. For example, we use the present continuous for fixed future plans. We know that fixed future plans go in our agenda. And if everyone, I actually have 2 agendas. Here's one, and here's the other. This is how I plan my life. One agenda is for general plans. The other agenda is daily. If I don't write things down, I forget. So present continuous, fixed future plans with a time, a place, and a person, because we know it's definitely going to happen. For example, what are you doing this afternoon? This afternoon, I'm teaching a lesson. This afternoon, I'm cleaning my kitchen. This afternoon, I'm calling my friend on FaceTime. So let's look through the other functions and divide them into our three futures. Predictions, your opinion. Do we use going to, present continuous, or future simple? So a prediction, which is my opinion, starts off with I think. In order to come up with the proper future form that we would use, consider the question, what do you think? And we answer with a specific future form. But there are two types of predictions. One prediction is a prediction we make based on proof. So tomorrow, we can make a prediction about the weather. We can make a prediction about a sporting event. We can make a prediction about our global situation. What do we think? Future simple. Thank you very much, Katya. For example, what do you think will happen in the next 2 weeks? In the next 2 weeks, I think. So when the prediction is your opinion, we use future simple, will plus the infinitive. What if, on the other hand, we have a prediction based on evidence? Do we still use future simple, or do we use a different future? Think about this weekend. Often we make predictions with evidence based on intention. And there's a clue for you. Very good. Predictions with evidence going to. For example, I think it's going to rain this weekend because they said so on the Weather Channel. Or I think that the New York Knicks will win the championship because they are a very good team. Or I think my husband is going to leave me because I smell someone else's perfume on his jacket. All right, now we're up to spontaneous decisions. So if we consider the situations like, oh, it's so cold in here. Oh, these bags are so heavy. I'm so thirsty. Which future form do we use for spontaneous decisions? Oh, I love these shoes. I often make spontaneous decisions when I am shopping. They're not always the best decisions. In fact, was it 2 years ago? 2 spontaneous decisions, future simple. Thank you, Katya. Thank you, Andrea. So we use will. I'll get you a glass of water. I'll close the window. I'll buy them. Was it 2 years ago, I bought a pair of sunglasses. It was a pair of sunglasses that I had been admiring for months, and they would not go on sale. And then one afternoon, I just, you know what, forget it. I've never had a pair of sunglasses, a pair of Gucci sunglasses. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to buy them. And I did. That was a spontaneous decision. I love these sunglasses. I'll buy them. Okay, now we're up to intentions. Often our plans for the future are intentions with the possibility of change. So our intention can be a future holiday, can be plans for the weekend, could be future plans as far as where we want to study, where we want to work. Thank you, Katya. Intentions going to. We use the going to infinitive. So where are you going to go next year on holiday? Or where are you going to go for to study at university? Or where do you think you're going to be 10 years from now? So that can also be an intention for a distant future. And now we're down to promises. If I make a promise, which tense do I use? I don't even, this is a new one for me, to make a promise. I promise, okay. I promise. Keep in mind also that a lot of these future forms are interchangeable. Promises, we use future will. Thank you very much, Katya. Now, in spoken English, you may hear that we interchange these a lot. For example, I think I'm going to go, or we can use will with something else, like next year I'll go to Canada on vacation. And the most important thing to remember is that this is the standard. These are the basic rules to follow when using the future forms. Most importantly, answer the question the way you're being asked. So if somebody uses going to, answer with going to. If someone is using present continuous, what are you doing after the lesson? What are you doing this evening? If someone asks you with future will, then you answer with future will. Okay, that's the most important thing to remember. Okay, now we want to use an example, write an example for each of the future forms. So since there aren't that many of us this morning, let's see, we have a very intimate group this morning. Choose a future form and give me an example. So you have 3 forms to choose from. You can choose going to, present continuous, or future simple. And all you have to do is provide an example for a future form. Here we have an example here to the right. There was an accident on the highway. I'm going to be late to work. This is a prediction with proof, or a prediction with evidence. So you don't have to write a prediction this complicated. You could use a different prediction. For example, today it is cloudy. This afternoon it's going to rain. Or, I am very hungry. In an hour, I'm going to make lunch. There's a prediction with proof. Or maybe someone is going to make lunch for me. You can also use a present continuous example, which is something we said, an example from our agenda. As you write down a future form, an example of your future form, just put it in the conversation box so that we can go over it together. As you're thinking of your future form examples, I will provide a few for you. Future simple, we said we can also make predictions that are our opinions. So these aren't predictions with proof. These are predictions because of something we think or feel. For example, I think we're going to be home for a long time. In fact, mentally, I'm also coming up with different projects. In fact, one of them is, for those of you who don't know, I'm a new bookbinder. So I'm doing the shopping. Very good, Andrea. I'm doing the shopping because remember, when you do the shopping, you go to the grocery store, you go to the supermarket. So I'm doing the shopping after this lesson. Very good, Andrea. Thank you. And Katya says the weather is sunny. This weekend is going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be beautiful too. We're heading right into spring. It's still a little chilly in the morning, but the afternoons are really spectacular. Anyway, I'm considering doing a bookbinding course online because I have a friend in Argentina. I'm staying home until the 16th of April. What happens after the 16th of April, Katya? Do you go back to work? Are you going somewhere else? Do you know something that we don't know? Well, today is what? Today is the 3rd of April. So knowing that you have 13 more days. Okay. Are you happy about this? I'm not sure what kind of work you do. So I said that I'm considering doing a bookbinding class with a friend of mine in Argentina. So I'm going to get in contact with her, and I think I'll do a bookbinding lesson sometime next week. So there I give you my going to intention and also a prediction with I will. And you're going to plan, the factories are closed. Okay. And Andrea says that you're going to book another trip after the quarantine. Where do you think you'll go? Or where are you going to go? I wouldn't mind going on a trip afterwards, but I'm sure once they lift the quarantine, for those of us who go back to work, we're going to be going back to work full speed. So won't be a gradual thing. Plus, with the schools, we have no idea what's going to happen with the school. If we're going to go to school in the summer, if we're going to start earlier, we have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be a very, very difficult transition. Good morning, Sandy. How are you, Sandy? Thanks for joining us this morning. We're talking about the future and what the future holds for us all. Right now, we're giving examples of the 3 future expressions, because you know, Sandy, that there are 3 ways to express the future. And we're talking about our future intentions, our predictions for the future, and our fixed future plans. All right, let's move on in our focus. Let's go on to the next slide. Make questions using the future tenses. You're going to go to Sardinia. I've never been to Sardinia, but I think I'd like to go. I think I'd like to go at least once. It's beautiful. I hear it's absolutely wonderful. All of my friends who go every year, they send me pictures all the time, and everyone is very, very happy. But I think if I have to choose between going to Sardinia or going home, I would probably go home for a little while. First on my list is going back to New York, and then afterwards, I'll go to Sardinia too. Okay, now we want to ask each other questions using the future tenses. So since it's just a small group this morning, we can ask and answer amongst ourselves. After this class, this weekend, for the rest of the year, predictions for the year 2020. So we want to ask, you can ask me the question. So if you'd like, type up the questions, put them in our conversation box, and I'll respond to your questions the way you are asking me. So keep in mind, if we're talking about after this class, which future do we use? Present continuous, going to, or future will? Because obviously after this class, as Andrea said, he's doing the shopping. So there's a clue as to which future tense you can use for number 1. So if you're going to ask me a question about my immediate future, or even could be the future, anything after this moment, but it shouldn't be too far. It should be possibly today. Usually we use the present continuous when we ask about what we're doing today or what we're doing on a specific day. For example, what are you doing Sunday afternoon? Oh, Sunday afternoon, I'm staying at home. Oh, what are you doing Monday afternoon? Oh, Monday afternoon, I'm staying at home. Oh, and Kathy says, after this lesson, I'll do my fit work at home. So you're working out at home. Very good. Okay. You're going to cook lunch. What about you? Let's see. After the lesson, I'm After this lesson, I'm preparing a video lesson for this afternoon because I'm taping videos to send to students. So I have to make, this afternoon, I'm making a video for my students. That's what I'm doing. Andrea is doing the shopping. Okay, this weekend, after this class, I'm going out. Yes, I'm following the same video from my gym. Very nice, Katia. Gym is spelled with a G. G-Y-M. So you have a personal fitness center in your home. Excellent. Maybe some of you have heard that the Summer Olympics have been postponed. This has only happened, I think, 2 or 3 times in history. The previous times was because of war, and they were not rescheduled. And this time, they've decided to postpone the Olympics until next year. Unbelievable. Okay, let's go on to number 2. This weekend. What are you going to do this weekend? How about I ask the question then, and then you can tell me. What are you going to do this weekend? So here we have an open question. And I said also that even though sometimes in conversational English we mix and exchange the different futures, it's important to respond the way you've been asked. Yes, Katia, Gym, G-Y-M. Okay, Katia, thank you. Katia says that this weekend she's going to do the housework. Remember that we said fixed future plans. The plans we have in our agenda. This is my agenda, my black book. That we have a time, a day, and possibly a person. Possibly a person. So if I ask you, what are you going to do this weekend? That becomes an intention with the possibility of change. For example, this weekend, I'm going to do the laundry. I have a lot of laundry to do, so I'm going to do the laundry. And Andrea, you said that you'll plant new flowers this weekend. Is this a spontaneous decision? Or is this an intention? Consider also the permanence, the certainty of your future. Are you sure you're going to plant flowers? So if you could say, Andrea, oh, Saturday morning, I'm planting flowers in my garden. I've already bought the bulbs, or I've already bought the seeds. Let's take a look at number 3. For the rest of the year. For the rest of the year becomes intention also. For the rest of the year. This could also be your prediction, a prediction with your opinion. For 3 and 4, predictions for the year 2020 for the rest of the year. So if we're going to make a prediction for the rest of the year, we can make a prediction with proof, or we can make a prediction based on opinion. We know the difference is that if we make a prediction with proof, with evidence, we use going to. If we make a prediction based on our opinion, it's simply we use will, future will, because I think. For the rest of the year, let's see, the rest of the year is going to be somewhat difficult. The rest of the year is going to be difficult. Let's eliminate somewhat. The rest of the year is going to be difficult because I have been out of work for so long. So the rest of the year is going to be difficult because I have been out of work. Predictions for the year 2020, I think it's going to get better though. I think it's going to get better because people are determined, people are cooperating, people are working together. And if we work together, then things will get better. What do you think? What are your predictions for the rest of the year? And what are your predictions for the year 2020? Okay, for the rest of the year, I'll have to work. And Andrea says, yes, I've already bought them. What flowers have you bought? What flowers have you bought, Andrea? Did you buy bulbs or seeds? I have hibiscus seeds. Oh, in fact, they're right here. These are my hibiscus seeds. And I'm trying to decide what to do with them, if I want to plant hibiscus or not. I've been planting beans. These are my bean plants because I'm doing bean plants with the kids in science. So I'm glad working outside we appreciate it more working outside now, I think. Feelings about the future. We had touched upon how we feel about the future at the beginning of the focus. Do you remember, Katya? And here we're talking about how we feel about what is going to happen or what could happen or what might happen. I'm dreading. I'm nervous about. I'm not looking forward to. So you can have negative feelings about the future, or it can be more positive. I'm looking forward to. I'm excited about. Thank you, Katya. Katya says for the year 2020, I think it's going to be better than now. I hope so. Oh my goodness. Katya, if it's worse than now, oh my gosh. We're already in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We have 8 months to make it better. So I think if we all work on it, something positive will happen. There's your prediction with an opinion. So we can have negative feelings about the future or positive feelings about the future. How do we express these feelings about the future? I'm dreading, I'm nervous, I'm not looking forward to. You've bought geranium plants. Okay, so you have the seedlings, you have the small plants that you're going to plant. Okay, very good. Now, are you putting them in vases in your window, or are you putting them somewhere else? If you're expressing positive feelings about your future, you can say, I'm looking forward to, I'm excited about. And with these prompts, you add a noun or the verb with ing, the gerund. So I'm dreading the flight on Ryanair, or I'm dreading taking the exam. So you can have a feeling about the future and a noun. You can have a feeling about the future and the verb ing. Here we want to make predictions using will. I'm dreading taking the exam next week. I'm sure you'll do great. Absolutely better. I know. 2020 is going to be better. I'm sure it will. I hope it won't be difficult. I think it will be difficult, but if you've studied, you won't have any problems. I don't think you will have any problems passing the exam. It'll probably be easier than you think. So when someone tells you how they feel about the future, these are predictions that you can give them using will. I'm sure, which expresses a certain amount of certainty. I hope. I think, which you've already used previously in the focus. I don't think, which is negative. And it will probably is a certain, I'm looking forward to the flight somewhere on, which Which flight, Katya? Or I'm looking forward to. Here you can actually use the verb and ing. I'm looking forward to flying somewhere on holiday. I'm looking forward to going somewhere on holiday. I'm looking forward to planning a holiday. I'm looking forward to, what am I looking forward to? Right now, I'm looking forward to the weekend because I'll have less work to do. This week has been a very, very busy week. And for those of you who are not used to working on the computer, I never work on the computer. I never use the computer. As a teacher, it's very direct. We have the students in front of us. So being on the computer all day long is mentally, for me, mentally exhausting. I don't know how people work on computers all day. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. What does your future hold? So, since we're not going to work in couples, you're not going to have a partner, we're all going to work together. We're going to write a dialogue. Well, we're going to create a dialogue with each other, a conversation about what our future holds. And we want to use each of the 3 types of future. So we have to remember their functions. When we use them, we use going to for predictions with evidence. We use going to with intentions and the possibility of change. We use present continuous for fixed future plans. That's our agenda, a person, a place, and a time. And we use the future simple for predictions that are our opinion. I think it will. I think I will. I think they will. We use future simple for spontaneous decisions. Oh, I love these sunglasses. I'll buy them. And we use future simple for promises. So I promise I'll never lie to you. So let's create our dialogue about the future. Here we have our prompts that express emotion or our feelings about the future. I'll give you a situation and then you can respond to me. As you come up with your responses, just put them in our conversation box and I will keep the conversation going. For example, I'm looking forward to the summer because I think that by summertime, a lot of this situation will be behind us. So I'm looking forward to the summer because I think that by summertime, this situation will be behind us. What do you think? What do you think will happen this summer? Are you looking forward to summer too? Summer is actually my favorite season. I love the summer. I'm not one of those people that suffers from the heat. In fact, I love it when it's hot. I suffer more during the cold months because my hands get cold, my feet get cold, but when it's hot, I just love being in the sun, which isn't necessarily good for my skin, but I love feeling the heat of the sun on my face. I love going to the beach. So yes, I'm looking forward to the summer. Is anyone else looking forward to summer? And if you're not, why not? Why aren't you looking forward to summer? And then as you respond to my prompt, because I'm looking forward to summer, because I think that by summer, this situation will be behind us, you can respond with, I'm sure, or I hope, or even you can disagree with me. You can say, well, I don't think so, Jennifer. I think this summer we're still going to be in quarantine. I think this summer we are still going to be in this situation. Or even though it's summertime, I think we're all going to be working a lot to make up for lost time. That's a possibility also. So I'm definitely looking forward to summer. Even if I don't get a summer holiday, I'm looking forward to the warmer weather, and I'm looking forward to the possibility of going back to the seaside, because I love going to the seaside. And I hope that we'll be able to, I hope that we'll have more freedom to move around in the warmer months, that we won't have to stay so close to home anymore, at least by July or August. What do you think? Do you think we'll be able to move around this summer, or are we still going to have to stay near our homes? Because it's one thing to be in quarantine or on lockdown and you have to stay inside. And it's another thing being able to move around, but with limited distance. What do you think is going to happen this summer? Does anybody have any opinions? Or should I give you another prompt? Let's see. I'm looking forward to meeting you all at school as soon as possible. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Thank you for stopping in. Take care, Sandy. Hope to hear from you soon. Remember, we have focuses every day. Stop in whenever you want. It'll be nice to go back to school. I'm looking forward to going back to school too. Even though I enjoy these online lessons, it's a different experience online, because I can read all of your comments, but it's not the same as having you all at the table and we're all talking together. It's a different experience. Let's say that doing it on the computer. But in your opinion, Katya says that in your opinion, this summer is too early. It's too early for what, Katya? That we shouldn't, do you think that I shouldn't look forward to the summer? Or should I be prepared to stay close to home this summer? What do you think? I mean, that could be good advice. Maybe I shouldn't get my hopes up. And it's possible that we're going to be close to home this summer. But as Andrea said at the beginning of the focus, it's too early to plan something to do. Yes, I think you're right. So maybe it probably wouldn't be the best thing to plan to make summer plans. But I think I'm looking forward to the warm weather anyway. Andrea, what about you? What do you think is going to happen this summer? Are you looking forward to summer? I know you're looking forward to planting your flowers, but what about this summer? It's difficult. Mentally, it's difficult not to plan, because possibly in our culture as well, we should be ready to stay near home. Okay. So I'll stop planning. I'll stop planning, and maybe I'll plant some flowers too, like Andrea, to give myself a place to go, since we'll be near. There's a very good possibility that we're going to stay near home this summer. We won't, I don't think we'll be able to travel. Let's take a look at our last slide for today. And here we want to have a little bit of a dialogue, not necessarily a debate. What will transportation be like in your city in 10 years? What will change? What will stay the same? How do you think technology will change in 20 years' time? Do you think it's possible to solve the environmental problems of today, or will they become worse? Let's talk about transportation. So, seeing that there have been several changes made to public transportation, especially in Florence, for those of you who have taken the tram or who have visited Florence recently and have seen all the differences. I remember in Florence many years ago when the traffic still moved around the dome. I remember driving in a car behind the dome because the cars were moving through the historical center. There were very few streets that were closed. Yes, Katia, we can dream. Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. So when we have our moments of solitude, we can imagine or we can dream about what we'll do when. And sometimes some people say, well, it's not good to hope, but sometimes it's important too, because without hope, then you can't dream about something new or something different. So are they making changes? Is the city of Prato making changes with transportation? So 10 years from now, we won't be 2020, we'll be 2030. Oh my goodness, just the idea of it. It'll be 2030. Do you think transportation will be the same? So here we're making predictions, obviously. So if we want to make a prediction with going to, we need proof. If we want to make a prediction with our opinion, then we can say, oh, I think. I think it will be much easier to move around Prato in the future. We should be in our country more also Italian people instead of regarding other countries as better than Italy. Why do you say that? In these days, I go to my garden and stay under the sun with some music and a good book to read. Yes, reading is wonderful. Reading helps us also to get our mind off of certain negative things. We should love our country more. We should love the country that we live in, because obviously I'm from another country, but we need to love where we live. We need to take care of our home first. And that is, if we look at other countries, Andrea, if I may give my opinion, if we look at other countries and see them as being better or more advanced, then we should understand why. What are they doing that we are not doing here? And we can use it as inspiration. So if we look at a healthcare system in another country and it's more efficient, or if we look at the way companies may work and it's easier than here, then instead of saying, oh, well, everybody else is better and we're so terrible, we should look to improve ourselves. Okay, and Katia says, in my opinion, there will be more green space in our town. I absolutely agree. There's going to be more green space because they're already enlarging the sidewalks and planting trees. There you go with your prediction, going to with evidence. There's going to be more green space, Katia. Why? Because they've started planting trees. If we look at the places, especially on Via Montegrappa, where they've narrowed the street, they've enlarged the sidewalks, and they've planted trees along the sidewalks. If they do that in several areas, that one, it increases the green, and two, it betters the air quality. I hope the use of electric cars and buses will increase. I hope so too. I hope so too. Because we realize the use of fossil fuel and petrol, that there are other sources of energy that we can use that are less harmful, to the environment. So I hope so too. And there Andrea has used the prompt, I hope. I hope the use of electric cars will increase. I think it will. I think it will also. I think this period has been very, very educational for a lot of people. Yes, you can use going to as well, Katya. You can say, in my opinion, I think there will be more green space. So that's an opinion based on, that's a prediction based on your opinion. I, on the other hand, gave a prediction based on proof. Both are correct. If you say, in my opinion, or I think it will, that's fine. And then I said, oh, there's definitely going to be more green because they've started planting trees. So I agree with you. And then I give another prediction with evidence. So both are correct. Okay. I mean, this has been a very interesting focus in the sense that we were able to use the different futures, the three different ways that we express the future tense. We also talked about our feelings about the future, which right now, if we had, so going to be okay. So it depends, Katya, for all of these future tenses, it depends on how you are expressing it. Because you can take any situation, use any future tense. But the significance is based on you. For example, if I take a situation like going to the doctor, we said that there are three ways to express the future. What are you doing this afternoon? This afternoon, I'm going to the doctor at 3 p.m. What are you going to do? I think I'm going to go to the doctor because I'm not feeling very well. Prediction. Oh no, intention. What will you do? Oh my goodness, I'm feeling terrible. I'll go to the doctor. Spontaneous decision. You know what? If your fever doesn't go down, you should go to the doctor. I promise I'll go to the doctor. So I've taken one situation, going to the doctor, and I've used all the different futures, which give it a different significance. I'm either making a promise, or I'm making a spontaneous decision, or I have an intention that could possibly change, or I have a fixed appointment. So it depends on what we want to express. And that changes the tense that we use. Okay, does that make sense, Katya? Now, we're coming up to the end of our focus. In this focus, what did we do? We were talking about the future, our feelings about the future, our plans for the future, our hopes for the future, our dreams for the future, and the importance of hoping and dreaming, even though right now we have to be satisfied with our present situation, possibly taking advantage of it and learning to live, as Andrea said, day to day without too much expectation, but appreciating where we are now. We know that there are three ways of expressing the future. Going to future, which is for intentions. Let's go back on our slide just to review quickly before we finish for today. Okay, these are our future forms. We use going to, present continuous, and future simple. Each of these future forms has functions. There are different functions for each of these future forms. And these are the examples. Okay, if we use going to, there are predictions with evidence. If we use going to, there are intentions with the possibility of change. If we're using present continuous, it's for fixed future plans. You're welcome, Katia. Fixed future plans, those are events in our agenda with a time, a place, and a person. If we're using future simple, they are also predictions, but this time the predictions are our opinion. Spontaneous decisions based on something that's happening in that moment, so it's the immediate future. And promises. Okay, listen, we've come to the end of our focus. I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. It's been a very nice week having these excursions. We've been to the supermarket, we've been to a cafe, we've gone shopping, we've talked about geography, and this morning we've talked about our future. So thanks everybody for joining me this morning. Have a wonderful afternoon. And if I don't hear from you again today, then have a great weekend. Okay, we'll be here every single day having our focus activities. So I will see you next time. Okay, everyone have a great day. Are there any questions before we wrap it up for this morning? If there aren't any questions, then I'll say goodbye. Bye, Andrea. Bye, Katia. Have a great afternoon.